Live on the air, people. Hey, flower farmers and gardeners and people everywhere. Welcome to the Live Gardening Show. It is your friend Lisa. We are really live, right? Yeah. I'm just assuming we are. Hey, friends, what do you think? This is eucalyptus. We bumped together about 10 days ago, and we're going to do some more eucalyptus bumping today with these little beauties. So I can't wait for us to do that together. Welcome to today's show, and there is so much going on as usual because y'all, it is spring. Spring is sprung here. We're not out of the woods by a long shot, but we are having a great spring. I need something to wipe the. Um, it is just such a season that everybody is super excited, and nobody I am like at the head of that line with everybody else. So, what's going on today? We're going to learn more about warm season seed starting. We're going to talk about that. We're going to bump up some eucalyptus. Suzanne has a pretty awesome bouquet studio lined up for you guys. And remember, we're going to have a prize drawing for in-app viewers who are watching live. And then I will always do our little Q&A at the very end of the show. So if you have questions that come up, please post them in the comments in the app. Just put at Lisa, and Jesse will gather those up and send them to me for the end of the show. And friends, before we get started, I just want to thank everybody that hits that shop button, y'all, or the share button. Let's see, I was going to show y'all. Right down at the bottom of your screen, right there is the sharing button. And that's how you can invite your friends to come over to the Live Garden Show. And I thank y'all for doing it because we appreciate it so very much. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. Be certain when you're checking out for your order that you double check your email address and your phone number. We need that information to create shipping tickets for you. And we can't make them without. So please double check and make sure there's no incorrect typos. And also, my friends, why would you want to get the app? So inside the app, we have a lot of other features. But if you've just come upon us on social, I'm so glad you're here. Our phone app is free. This is what it looks like. And inside the app, there's just special stuff. You can build a favorites list. You can watch replays. You can comment with the other live viewers, which is always lively. But we also offer special shipping rates only inside our app. So what are they? We have seed packet only orders ship for free. That means if you only order seed packets, I pay the shipping, right? And then we also offer flat rate product shipping that is capped at $11.95. If you buy 1 or 10 packages or items, it's only $11.95. We do ship to all 50 of the United States. And remember that these shipping charges are only available inside of our app, right? Now, frequently during the live show, we will sell out of stuff. And if you go to put it in your cart and it says out of stock, get notified. You might want to do that. Frequently, we are bringing over more stock from our big website over here into the app. And if you are seeing people inside the app posting all those sunflower emojis, those are our TGW family sending us love. Those are our online course students as well as members of my private flower farmer club. And I just absolutely love it when y'all do that. So thank you so much for that. Now we have a giveaway as usual. It's here somewhere. We're finding it. We really do have something. And so just hit that white button. If you're new here, hit the white button to get put on the wait list because we'll be pulling one lucky in-app viewer to get a $25 store credit at the end of the show. So hit that button there and I hope you win. All right, friends. So let's jump right into what's going on. It's one of our favorites, this Defying Expectations seed collection. Y'all, I absolutely adore pink and lime green together. So look at that beautiful bouquet. This bouquet seed set actually includes the Benary's Giant Lime Green Zinnia. Look how beautiful that is, y'all. And So it's got the lime green zinnia. And have you grown this grass? This is, we call it green drops, but I like to cut it when it's just emerging, but it quickly goes to the draping mode. So pretty in bouquets. And then, of course, the Benary's Giant, bright pink. Love this color. This is actually the perfect stage to harvest your zinnias. Notice there's no yellow florets yet. It's at the end of its unfurling, and I just love the way that that looks. And then this is really one of my favorite plumes, bright pink, y'all. This is like the color of watermelon. It's bright pink Sunday. It's a celosia plume. And then how about a draping green amaranth? How pretty is that? Love that one. So when you get all those guys together in a bouquet, this is what they can look like. And this is how it comes. The seed set is $19.95. It comes with this cute little ribbon on it. It's got a card with the picture of the bouquet. It's 5 individual packets, and it's $19.95. And that is a savings over buying the seed packets individually. And we say this all the time. This is a limited edition. So if you want one, get one before we sell out again. So let's talk about warm season seed starting. That's kind of where we are right now, right? First off, I want to push you to resist the urge to plant too early for your area. So warm season plants that are started and planted outside into cold soil really just struggle. They never reach their full potential. They become more susceptible to disease and pests because they're stressed. So don't do it. And your planting time depends on your last average spring frost. And if you don't know what yours is, it's easy enough to find out on the internet. Just put into a search engine your zip code and then put last spring frost and it'll come up. And, you don't want to plant your warm season seedlings outdoors until, it's really the safest to wait until 2 weeks after that frost date that you get. That allows the soil to warm up some before you plant them out, unless you take special steps like we do here. We plant right at our last frost date, but we plant and they're immediately hooped and lightweight row covered to protect them because the nights can still be cold and we just don't want to chill our plants because that stresses them and they don't do as well as they would have if they never got cold, right? Now, we don't do any direct seeding. That means to plant seeds out in the garden in spring or summer. The weed pressure just creates a lot of work, a lot of extra work. That's why we don't do it. So how long does it take to grow a warm season seedling? And that really depends on which flower you're talking about, right? It varies. So like zinnias and sunflowers are pretty quick. They're 2 to 3 weeks. Yet celosias and basils are 4 to 6 weeks. And we tell you that right on the seed packet, y'all. You don't have to guess about that. So, you are looking to plant your seedlings outside once the soil has warmed. And to get them to germinate inside, they really need warm temperatures to germinate and a warm air temperature to actually grow up into a great little seedling, right? They're not going to grow in a cold garage is what we're saying to you. And then the thing to think about is during your growing process is you need to be sure to allow time to harden your seedlings off. Harden it off means moving it from your indoor space where they're very protected to outdoors. And we have a hardening off area that protects them from direct sun and hard wind. And I recommend that your seedlings have 10 to 14 days of that outdoor time before they get planted in the garden. So be sure you include that. I mean, if it says 4 to 6 weeks on your seed packet, the last 2 weeks of that 4 to 6 weeks would be hardening off, okay? All right, so let's look at how I start seeds. So I'm going to make the small and the large block, and then we're going to come back and sow them. So first, when you do soil blocking, we use flat bottom trays with no drainage holes. And let's get rid of this guy for a minute. So this is literally the soil blocker we use here on the farm to start all of our seeds. And down here in the tray is the ready-made mix, already moistened. And you hold the soil blocker on the stationary bar. And I push it down twice just to make sure that all the chambers are nice and full. This is a potato masher, y'all. That is the tool I have found that just does the best job to scrape off the bottom. And then here's the tray. You place the tool on it and you are just squeezing the plunger. And y'all, just that quick, I'm going to do that after I make the big one. Just that quick, we made 20 little containers. Is that awesome or what? 20 little 3/4 inch containers. All right, so now we're going to make the large blocker and then we're going to come back and plant some seeds. So this is what the 2-inch blocker looks like. And the larger blocker takes more soil, so I kind of make a bigger pile. You again hold on to the stationary bar and push it down into the moistened blocking mix. And it takes more soil. You'll do this a couple times and figure out why I kind of do a few extra pushes, because when you have trouble, usually it's the 2 end blocks just don't get full like you want. Striking it off, and here we go. We're going to just place it onto the tray. Again, you're just squeezing. And we just made 4 2-inch blocks with a hole on the top that we're going to drop a seedling right down in there. So I'm going to show you all about bumping up. Now, let's first sow some zinnias. Then we'll do this. I don't know why I put that over there. All right, so now we have our coated zinnia seeds. They come to us coated. That is just a clay material. It actually just makes it easier for the seed distributors to count the seeds. And so literally we plant zinnias, cosmos, and marigolds this way. There's a pointy end. You literally just push it down into the block. You're still going to see the tail sticking up. And by pushing that down into the block, that provides covering. Because if you read a zinnia seed packet, it says cover the seed. Well, it is covered on both sides down in the block. And that's just how simple that really is. And y'all, I could just do this all the day long. And so let me show you up close. So see how you can still see the tail? That's it. You don't put anything on top of it. This is it. Now, as I mentioned, we do marigolds and cosmos. Those are because they're long, skinny seeds, just like zinnias. People think that, in fact, you can't do that. And that is how we sow zinnias in the small block. And they grow in this block until they go to the garden, y'all. 2 to 3 weeks before planting is when you start those. Now, let's do a little eucalyptus bump. So eucalyptus is the only flower that I do this with. I do it with tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant. But for flowers, eucalyptus is the only one I do it with. And that is because eucalyptus is a super slow grower. It takes 12 to 16 weeks to get a 3 to 5 inch transplant. These are 6 weeks old. And you can see how small he still is. And literally, this is, see if y'all can see that. I'll do it again. So I'm just dropping this in and just kind of snugging any air pockets. So here's the seedling. And literally, I am just going to pull that off. And just
You can press the hide comment button at the bottom of the comments to move them out of your way so you can see.
look how that just drops right in, y'all. It's really pretty amazing. So we have the little seedling. And we just drop it in the hole. And what you're just doing is making sure that that little air, there's no air pocket between your little block and inside the 2-inch block. And we're going to do one more. And literally you just drop it in. And the size you see me, you know, these are like what? An inch and a half, seedlings to 2 inches. That is the side. You want to do this before there's a lot of roots hanging out. So that's how we bump up eucalyptus. And so I want to show you just very quickly while we're getting the next one. This is a tray of straw flowers that are actually like a week and a half past when their brothers and sisters were planted. Look how healthy. These are growing in those 3/4 inch blocks you just saw. This is 60 straw flowers, y'all. Soil blocking is incredibly space savvy. This is like an 11 by 5 inch tray, and that's where you're going with your blocks. Now you can, this is what a brand new soil blocker looks like, y'all. And so this is the one that makes 20 of the 3/4 inch blocks, and it's $39.95. And then we also have the 2 inch blocker, which you just saw me use, and it comes with these nipples that you can actually make an indentation in the top of a block to receive a large seed like squash and gourds and bumping up and well actually and sweet peas is what I meant to say for this nipple. Now to actually, does that come with the inserts or is that separate? This, oh, I see the inserts are next. So the other thing that I do is pop in those inserts that you just saw me use on the 2 inch block. That's what you pop these out and put these on. That makes a hole in the top of the 2 inch block to receive the small block. So you get 4 of those for $9.95. And that just means you are equipped to sow every size of the seeds. So you can buy those separate, but you can also buy them together as a set, y'all. And guess what? Deal of the day is our soil block maker set. This means you get the small blocker, you get the 2 inch blocker, and you get the inserts to go in the 2 inch blocker. So you are equipped to start every seed. So the set is already discounted at regular price of $87.17 for all the pieces. But deal of the day, y'all, $69.74. And that is until Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time or until supplies sell out here in the app. And these deals are only available inside the app. Thank you, sister. All right, so blocking mix, the ready-made mix that we use and love is $15.95. This is the same as we have sold. It's just in a different packaging now. And you just add water and you're ready to go. It's $15.95. And larger bags of this are available over on our big website. What's the difference in this and most other soils? This is made to bind together because the soil is the container. Most seed starting mixes are very light and fluffy because they're in a container. That's what sets this apart. This bag will make 600 of those little small blocks, y'all. It goes a really long way. Now, you can make your own soil blocking mix at home. This is our nutrient mix, and it's a powder, and you add this to your peat moss or cocoa fiber and compost. The recipe is right on the front of the bag, and this will make 12 recipes. A recipe is equivalent to one of our 6-quart bags. So this will go a long way, and it is $19.95, and it's 3 pounds, and this will get you started making your own at home. Now, we recommend sifting all seed starting ingredients and mixes, even our ready-made mix. Y'all, when you use organic mixes, there's always chunks. The chunks is where the biology lives, but we don't want chunks in our blocking or seed starting mix. So we have this sifter that we run it through. This fits perfectly on a 5-gallon bucket. So you can sift easily and quickly. It's great to do on a nice afternoon outside. It's $24.95, and it just makes a job so much neater and easier to do. Now we have several kits, y'all. This kit includes the small blocker, which you've already met that. It also includes the seed pan, and it includes a bag of the nutrient mix. So this gets you started with the small blocker and able to sow seeds and make your own blocking mix at home. And this is $58.76, and that is discounted over buying everything separate. Okay, so this is $58.76. Now, we introduced this set or this kit. Oh, actually, we are calling it a set. a couple weeks ago and y'all loved it. So here we are with it again. So this is called the extra large blocker set. This includes what you get in the blocker set. That's the 2-inch, the small one, and the inserts. Okay, so it includes this. But it also includes a bag of nutrient mix, which there's the powder. This is just green sand and rock phosphate, y'all. It's got the recipes on the front. It also includes our seed pan and the toothpicks. You get all of this. Try to hold it all, y'all. For 107.78. Oh, and it gets the inserts that I just dropped. There they are. Thank you, sister. So it's 107.78. And you'll be set to soil block and be able to make your own blocking mix at home by adding your cocoa fiber or peat moss and compost. And love that because you just, y'all, I'm just going to tell you, once you start soil blocking, it's so successful. You starting more and more seeds, and then that means you need more and more soil. That's how that all works out. Now, we use all different size trays here. You want to fit the tray to the size of the number of blocks that you're starting. These are reusable foam trays. We use them for years. This is the mini, holds one set of 20. It's $1.95 for a 5-pack. This is the small, which holds 2 sets of 20. It's a $2.95 for a 5-pack. All of these also come in 25 packs, y'all. And then this is the large that holds 3 sets of 20 or hold the larger blocker also. These are $3.95. We just wash them up and use them over and over and over again. Now, y'all have probably not heard me talk about this in a while, but I absolutely love this garden marker. So we mark all of our trays. So you can tell this is last fall. We just, this one hasn't even been washed yet. We use masking tape to mark our trays, just regular old masking tape, and we write on it with our garden marker. And y'all, that is how old? And it still shows up. It is resistant to moisture and UV rays. The garden marker is $6.95, and we absolutely love it. It's what I mark my plug trays with, all of our trays, and it is really easy to use. And this is the size of the writing. And anyway, you cannot have enough garden markers. And this is how they come. That is a great little Easter basket thing too if you have a gardener in your life. All right. Next up, are we what's
Giveaway.
Oh, giveaway reminder. There you go, y'all. $25 giveaway to one lucky in-app user. So hit that white button now to get on that list, and we will pick somebody at the end of the show. So, y'all, yesterday during the day, Bobo weeded the cool flower garden, and we were reaping the story about biodegradable film. This is what it looks like. It looks like plastic. This is a plant-based product. It's made out of corn byproducts. It's dark on one side and light on the other. When we made Cool Flowers fall garden beds, we put the black side up last fall, and it just totally makes, there's only weeds in the holes where your plants are, if there are weeds at all. Super easy to plant through. You literally just pop your finger through. It comes 48 inches wide. So you lay it on your bed, then down the sides and a little bit on the pathway. Use something to scrape mulch or soil all the way around the edges to seal it. And then you plant through it. Dark side up when it's fall, winter, and very early spring. And then once it starts to warm up, we use the light side up when we're planting, and that prevents you from toasting your seedlings. Totally love this stuff, y'all. It comes in a 20-foot piece. It's $14.95, but there are larger pieces. Isn't there larger, longer ones? There are other sizes available. And love this stuff. It is compostable. You don't have, you can turn it into your soil, mulch on top of it. And we love the biodegradable film. Now, row cover. It's that time of the year, y'all. We're having those spring cool winds. So this is the lightweight row cover that we use. We like to use it sometimes for a lot of different uses, but frequently for that first 10 to 14 days after planting, just to protect those seedlings from the wind. and from deer, rabbits, squirrels, all those classic creatures that get in there and mess around. It's called floating row cover because of how lightweight this is. You can use it temporarily, like 10 days or less, on the plant, but we use hoops to extend the use, and you can find those over on our website. It's 83 inches wide, which is 6.5 feet, and a 20-foot piece is $12.95. And it just gives you peace of mind that you can protect your seedlings. There are definitely longer pieces of this also available. Now, if you want to provide that same kind of protection that I was just talking about, like maybe from varmints, but it's warming up outside and you're afraid that the row cover is going to trap too much heat, which is really its purpose in life, that's when we use the insect netting, y'all. This is a different fabric. This is a stretchy nylon. It's much more durable also than row cover. Love this stuff, y'all. You can use it on hoops just like we do the row cover. And you can do a complete covering to keep varmints out. Squirrels digging up our stuff this time of the year is a real problem. And if I'm afraid of overheating, we use insect netting in place of row cover. I also make sun caps out of these, which is how I create a little shade house for my beds when the heat really gets heated up. It's 20 foot long, it's 6.5 feet wide, it's $33.95, and there are longer pieces available. So many uses, and this is what it looks like installed. It looks just like row cover, except insect netting does not trap as much heat as row cover does. That's the big thing. This is what I use during the spring and summer, row cover during fall and winter more. And how
A question about the sun cap.
okay.
When do you do that? How long do you?
So somebody's asking about the sun cap. So the sun cap is using the insect netting on hoops, which you'll find over on our website. We do that when it's hot. I mean, I'm thinking of the first time I did this was 97 degrees outside at 11 o'clock in the morning. We had to plant, and we put on the sun cap as we were planting, and we did not lose any of our seedlings. And it's just gathered up at the top. It shows you on the product. And we would leave it on until the plants are obviously well established. I mean, there's no reason to take it off until it's time to net, put flower support netting on that bed. These are the types of clips that I use. You get these anywhere. I mean, they're serious pinchers because you want to be sure that netting stays clipped up on the on the hoop, so it doesn't fall down. You do not want to trap any heat when it's 97 degrees outside. But it created a little shade house, and it is fabulous. So you'll find those. And see, these are the anchor bags. This is how we use it, not for a sun cap, but all the other applications. This is the anchor bags. You can fill them with sand, soil, or there's one full with rocks. And about 15 pounds is the best. We use this for silage tarps, insect netting, and row covers. You can never have enough. It's got a string at the top that you can tie it shut. Literally, I never have enough. Never, even after all these years, right? Flower support netting. I'm getting ready to start netting next week. This is what flower support netting looks like. Okay, it's plastic. It's easy to cut. We suspend this above our beds for the flowers to grow up through to keep them from going down in torrential rain and wind. And it happens all the time. The better your flowers are, the more likely they are to go down because they're heavier on top, right? And so this is suspended above just using garden stakes. It comes in a 20-foot piece, and there's much longer pieces available. It's $11.95 for this size. Each hole is 6 by 6, and that lets us also use flower support netting as a planting guide. And it works great. Laying it on the bed, using it to plant, and then rolling it right back up. It's reusable from year to year. And plant support netting, make sure that you have flowers that you can actually cut because they'll be tall and straight. Makes all the difference in the world. So yesterday I was actually working on my container garden, And I use a combination of several items that we sell and put them together in a kit to create this container protection kit. This is insect netting. This is actually double because it was really cold outside. But normally I would use it in a single. This is a big container down here. So you get a piece of insect netting. Then we use our flexi tie, which is a stretchy rubber string that actually you can tie it in a bow or a knot, and it holds. And we put one of these garden grow throughs. These are the legs. You attach it and you just push it down on your container. This flat top is suspended about 10 inches above your container. Its only purpose is to support the insect netting, right? And you plant, you put this on, you drape over your insect netting, you put the little belt around it with the flexi tie. And I've even watered through the insect netting. I mean, that you can see what you're actually doing. And it keeps squirrels and birds out of your container. I usually leave it on for about 2 to 3 weeks until my plants are really well established. It is $22.95, and you can purchase all of these items separately if you want to make your own at home. Come on, sister.
Hey guys, Suzanne here, Lisa's little sister, gonna show you some of our favorite products. First, we have our pot pads, and these are great little additions to your pots on your porch. They protect your wood decks, or I use them on my aggregate front porch, and it just lifts the pot up off of the ground so that water can flow through and you get good circulation. And these guys are rubber on top, and it's like the moving men, if you've ever seen them, that you put under your furniture to move them around. That's this kind of material here, so it's even easier for you to pull your pot across concrete or wood with these on it. So they come in a 4-pack. They protect your deck and patio, easy to move, grippy, and reusable. $16.95 for the 4-pack, and I have these on the pots on my front porch. Next, we have our mini dibber. This is the package it comes in. This is a great little tool for poking a hole through your Bio 360 to plant your little small soil block, because you want to keep the hole as small as possible so weed seeds don't germinate around your plant once you get them in there. So this makes the perfect little hole. This is great for potting up plants or doing containers, anything you need a little something other than your finger, keeps your finger from getting sore, using this to poke around. $7.95. Precious to tie a ribbon around this and put it in an Easter basket. These are our sod and harvest knives, and we love these things. We use them for everything. First of all, they're sharp, razor sharp. They remind me of the old Ginsu knife commercials. See, they're serrated right here, so they're very, very sharp. These are great for splitting perennials, digging up roots. Lisa uses them to cut the twine off the tractor or the tiller when it gets caught, and they come in 2 sizes. This is a 2.5-inch. This is the 4.5-inch. The set is $26.50, or they're $13.95 each. Get the set and give one to a friend. There's just a million uses. I rip open my compost and mulch bags with this. It just
Bags of leaves.
bags, anything you have to open that's in a bag, this will make it so simple. And I love it. I always grab this when I'm working out around the yard and here on the farm.
And funny enough, it's the perfect hostess gift this time of the
It's
year.
a great hostess gift this time of year, and it's price right. Price point is perfect. So this is our Hori Hori. I like to call this the rock harvesting tool because that's what it's made for. It's made to go down in the soil. You can see it's got a steel blade that goes deep into the handle. It's also serrated, and it is just good for prying up rocks. You can also dig up and split perennials with this. Anything heavy that you need to do. Perfect hole in the soil or your Bio 360 to plant your 2-inch soil blocks. They just perfectly stick it in, pull it back, and they drop right into place. So a million uses for this. And I'll tell you that men are really attracted to this tool. And it has a pouch here that you can attach to your belt if you wanted to wear it around when you're out working. It's $42.95, and this is,
52.
I'm sorry, $52.95, and it is one of those forever tools that you'll be given to somebody when you're done. Next, we have our shear and pouch. This is what the new one looks like. And then on my hip, I have the one that I use. It's a little bit older. You can see the pouch is well worn. And the shear, we love these shears. These are bonsai shears. They have this spring right here, and they're smaller, so they fit your hand comfortably. They're easy to use. We cut big sunflowers with this, small woodies, which I'll be demonstrating in a few minutes in the Bouquet studio, and they work great. We use them for all the cut flowers here on our farm, and they're just simple, lightweight, easy to use, and they fit perfect in this pouch. But you can also use this pouch for any of your other shears that you have on hand.
I just want to go on the record. Sister, show them whose initial is on that shear.
It says number 3.
No, shear.
Oh, the shear. Oh, it's a Lisa shear. Sorry.
Yeah, she has my shears. This is the story of my life, y'all.
Let's see. Does this one have? No, this one doesn't have Lisa on it. But anyway, you're not even using them this time of years. But anyway, so we will give you a new shear in a pouch, and it's $58.81. And I believe they're also available separately in the app.
They are.
And again, they're a forever kind of tool. We use these shears seasons after seasons, and they hold up wonderfully.
Love them.
Next, we have our tick key. I don't know about you, but I have been dreading the day that the ticks are back out, and it may be today. Here, it's so warm. So the tick key is this wonderful little tool. It's called a key because it has a hole. You can put it on your keychain so you always know where it is. But it has this little teeny section here that when you have a tick, you just simply press it like this and pull back, and it grabs that tick head gnaw. We are told by many people that their nurses at schools have these for when the kids get a tick on the playground. They work great for any little jumping dog, husband, child. This works great if they're mobile when you're trying to get it off as well. $10.95. I have one in every drawer at the house because I'm also afraid I'm going to lose it.
I was just reading the testimonials on the back of that.
So this has to be the funnest thing we sell. And I have one, and everybody I know has one. I think I gave these to all my neighbors one year at Christmas because it's just so much fun. This is a weather stick, and you can see how long it is. It comes and has, oh, look, apparently it's going to be foul weather in here today. It has a little teeny hole at the top, and that's where you stick a nail through, and you stick it on a post or a window or someplace that you can view it from the side. And when it's fair, it curls up. And when it's going to be foul, it curls down. And this is made of balsam wood, the same thing as a divining rod. And it is the most fun. People can't believe it. Mine has touched the post it's attached to before when it was really nasty outside. So $10.95. It is the perfect gift for yourself or for anyone because it is just so much fun. People are constantly talking about it.
So I was just reading some of these reviews on the back. It's amazingly accurate and absolutely amusing. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, I mean, he was such a skeptic at first. And so I gave it to him for Father's Day or something. And it's like they were so glued to that weather stick. Every single morning, it was the first thing they looked at for years, y'all. So that's just a really great one. All right. So now we are doing, is it the Bouquet?
Bouquet Studio.
Oh, okay.
All right, from the Bouquet Booth Studio with me, Susie Q. Now, this is something I saw on social media, and I've never done it before, but I thought, what the heck, we're going to try it. So I made a little one, and then you're going to watch me try to make a big one. But it's just jonquils with sticks. And the sticks are on the outside of the container here, and I'll show you how that's done. But look how you can just take a few little flowers and use these sticks as
That
part
is
of
pretty
the
cool.
arrangement, and you can enjoy them. So
Those were from those little daffodils were from our grandma's house.
yes. So I also want to show you. Thank you, Bobo. Bobo brought this container for me to use today. Where's our little box? Oh, will it fit on our box?
No.
The wooden box?
No, I think
okay.
not.
So I'm going to turn this down so you can see. So this is a beautiful rectangle container that Bobo brought.
Wait, maybe on long catty corner?
Yeah, maybe so. That way. Okay. And I just want to show you our wonderful little espresso watering can. I'm going to put some water in here. And once those sticks are in here, when I have to refill it, of course, I'm going to need to use this too because you're not going to be able to fit it under a sink. So the little espresso can, Susie's finding it for me now, is $34.95, and it's precious even with a little arrangement in it, or you can use it to water your household plants. And when you're not using it, you just sit it on a shelf and
Great for soil
and
blocks.
it's beautiful to look at, and it's great for soil blocks. So I went out, did a little impromptu pruning of some bushes here on the or trees here on the farm, and we're gonna try to maneuver through this. So when I watched the nice lady doing this, you take rubber bands and you stick them around your container, and I'm gonna use two is probably easier to get them on there, but three holds them in place better. And I had cut some of these to what I thought would work, but we may have to change that. So here are my little daffodils that I got here on the farm. You can see I got different heights. So I'm thinking that's a pretty good height for the sticks. Let me see if I can't get you all further away so you can see more and give you an idea. Yeah, I think that's better. So I'm going to have all my sticks about this height, and I think most of them are, these are. So first I'm just going to take my sticks and make sure they're all about the same height before I get started, because you can't measure them once you get started, right? That one's a little long. And of course my shears cut these. That was great, went flying right for the camera. Cut these like they're butter. All right, this one's a little long. I'm not going to use him. Take him away, sister.
Okay.
The rest of these I think are the right height. That one's a little tall, but I think it'll be good. So, and I just cut off any of the side shoots down here where it's going to be against the glass. And so we're just going to start. I'm probably just going to do the front because of time. You just stick them through there, and we're going to cover these up. We're going to actually cut the rubber bands off when we get to the end. And so let's get a few of these in place.
I think the sticks are kind of pretty by
They are
themselves.
beautiful, aren't they? That's what makes it so cool. And you just want to make sure you have them all the way around so that you can support your flowers. So you're kind of making a flower frog out of sticks. And take me out. So this is so simple to do.
That is a beautiful container.
And once, yes, thank you, Bobo, for the container. And once you get the sticks in here, I thought, oh, it's going to be so hard to fit the flowers in there, but they slipped in so easy. I was very, very surprised. All right, so one more, and then we're going to show you. And just, I think of all the different beautiful stems out there. Like this stem I just put in is kind of red. If they were all red, that would be beautiful. And let me show you. This one's kind of left turn Larry sticking out. That might poke somebody. So I think I'm going to cut that one
I
off.
think that's kind of
You
cool.
think it's, but I don't want it to stick anybody. I'm going to cut it. There we go. Namely me, because I'm back here with it. Now, I'm not even going to cut these. I'm just going to try to use them as they are. And we do recommend with daffodils that you use the CVBN tabs when you're harvesting them. And because they're part of the dirty dozen, they actually excrete stuff in the water that actually is not good for them. So the CVBN tabs, which you can find in our, you can find these in the app, the CVBN tabs, just a little chlorine tablet that lasts for 72 hours. But when you first harvest them, it's important that they have that first drink of clear water.
Bacteria free.
Yeah, it's bacteria free so that
And sister, I would say that daffodils are probably the best lesson of other flowers do what daffodils do, meaning they drain stuff into the water, but you don't see it like you do on daffodils. But that's kind of what the CVBN is all about, is killing the debris that stems dump into and pollute the water with.
right.
Because daffodils will kill their partner. It will kill the
Right.
other
It will
stems.
harm the other flowers as well. If you have daffodils in a mixed bouquet, they will also, their contamination will also harm the other flowers. So I'm just kind of dropping these in, and you can see I'm kind of arranging them in the sticks so that they stand up.
Yeah, and I'm just realizing. So the first daffodils we had were from our dad's mom's house. When before her house got sold, I dug those up. These are here from Steve's Grandma Ziegler, that she planted here decades and decades ago. These are called February Gold. They bloom. They've been blooming for over a month. And they aren't the biggest, but they are pretty dadgum special in February when nothing else is blooming.
And you can see them a mile away.
I
Yellow
know.
is a great
Yeah, it
color.
is.
You
It
can
is just
really,
the
really
greatest
see the
color.
yellow. And see, you can just arrange them however you want into the
You've
sticks.
got to get in the vase,
So
sister.
in the vase would be helpful. And I mean, I could do this. I could go on and on and on.
Well, I think it's
But
getting kind of pretty.
yeah, and it's just, oops, I want him on the other side of the stick. I'm going to move him back over here. I thought it would be difficult, but actually it's not that hard to fit them in and get them to prop up in the sticks. So what do y'all think? That is just,
I mean, it kind of looks like a little woodland.
it does, a little woodland scene. So now what we do is you can take string, ribbon, whatever. I've chosen raffia. I think this is the front. I'm gonna turn it around and tie it, and you can see when I get done.
So you're trying to cover the rubber bands, is
No,
that?
you actually cut the rubber bands off. So you simply tie the
Oh,
sticks
oh.
on, which I just tied the raffia and just made a knot and then cut it.
I wonder.
Well, that
That's
didn't
why
work.
I hate raffia. It breaks.
Yep, I asked for twine, but we didn't have any available that was a decent color. So I'll get a bigger piece of raffia and tie it and show you.
You know what else would work? That flexi tie.
Yeah, but that's not as pretty to look at on a vase as
I know.
twine.
This is why I'm not
But the
a
flexi
designer,
tie
y'all.
also is stretchy, so you want something to support your sticks and not stretch it and let them fall over. So I'll try not to pull the raffia quite this hard this time. And I want to make sure the top one is nice and tight because you don't want them flapping around.
I can't wait to see if this works on camera, y'all.
It better. I just did one. I just did the little one. Okay.
And I'm just sitting here thinking, I don't need flowers for anything this weekend.
Just have to take them in and enjoy them.
Huh?
They look great in your house.
Just take 'em in. Okay. So you can see, I'm just going to
I
cut
think the
some.
rubber bands make it look stylish.
Oh, yeah. Of course you do, sister. So I'm just going to cut the raffia off.
Well, you know what I mean? It's almost like they're the same color. You can't really tell them apart.
Well, you can't, but if
But
you're using something else, you might. So now I just grab the rubber band anywhere
watch her cut the raffia.
and just cut it off, and the rubber band comes out, and now it's just the beautiful raffia. And you could do rope or something. You could make more, wrap it around more times, and there's just all kinds of different things. But there you go with the little raffia.
That is pretty
So
beautiful,
pretty
sister.
cool. Thank you to the grandmothers for the daffodils and the trees.
Cool. I'm dropping stuff. All right, y'all. So we are at that time of the year when I am sending, I just talked to Bobo yesterday about submitting our seed order to the warehouse for our seeds here on the farm. Because, you know, all the seeds that we use here on the farm now, we no longer keep bulk here like I did for all the years of high production that we just send up to the warehouse and they bring them. So I'm actually starting seeds from the exact same packages off the same shelf as you. And I love that. I love that for a lot of different reasons. And so that works out really great. And so a best way to store your seeds, if you have leftover seeds or you're not using them right away, cool and dry, y'all. This is the dry piece of that. This is a desiccant, and it absorbs moisture like from condensation and humidity. A 2-pack is $2.95. 10 of these are $9.95. It's one of those things. This is like what comes in your Tylenol, y'all. That's why all your stuff you buy has these things in there, right? Because it makes a big difference. So desiccants help your seeds last longer, keep them cool, and keep them dry. So I'm just going to show you some of the seeds we're actually starting now, right? So, huh?
They're the deal of the day.
Guess what? These seeds are, is it the warm season seed? All warm season seeds are 20% off for the weekend, y'all. Holy cow, deal of the day. All right, so the category is warm season seeds. They're all priced as marked, 20% off till Sunday at 8 a.m. or, and this is inside the app only, or until we sell out. Oklahoma pink. Sister, I need this camera. Always worried I'm going to break the arm, y'all. Okay. Oklahoma pink. This is the smaller one. So love this one to have it blooming late May and into June. Baby shower central. It's just so soft and awesome with orange, by the way. And here's the mixed Oklahomas. This is my favorite zinnia to have in my own home because I love how little they are. They're about an inch and a half. They're doubles. They come in all those great colors in the mix are included. Really love that one. And then they're sticking together. And then who, of course, doesn't love another lime green zinnia? This is the Queenie. They're a little bit smaller than the Benaries, but they're awesomely beautiful, y'all. Really love that one. I need to do this. This is the Queenie mix. Y'all, this has all the different colors in it. The lemon peach, the orange, the blotch, the lime green. They're a little bit smaller, but the colors are beautiful, just beautiful. This is one that we plant at every succession, particularly for fall. And then let's look at some of the Benaries Giants. This is the lilac. Suzanne loves all the purple ones. And then there's this salmon. Who doesn't love a salmon, big, gorgeous zinnia? We love having this one for fall too, but it is really helpful at the beginning of the season. Just seems to fit. And you can meet all of the Benaries colors by growing the Benaries Giant Mix. I always grow a section of mix. Sometimes there's new colors that pop up. And just, it's like, oh, why don't we grow that color anymore? Love that one. And then this is one of the new, when I say new, it's new in the last 10 years, Uproar Rose. This is a new hybrid, and it's because it's a color and the production that no other zinnia has. I mean, it's very uniform. It's a magenta color, but it's fluorescent. Love the Uproar. And y'all know I have a little bit of a sunflower problem, right? Look at these. How gorgeous is this? These are Pro Cut White Light. Look at them this is how we cut them, and they quickly go to this inside. How beautiful are they? They don't even look like a sunflower. Then this is the original sunflower that I ever grew, y'all. This is the sunflower that our logo sunflower was based on. This is Sunrich Gold. And what's different about this from Pro Cuts? The center is bigger and the petals are shorter, right? Love that chartreuse green is just fantastic. And see, look, here's Vincent fresh. It kind of is the same, but it's not. Look how much longer the petals are and smaller the center is. That's what's different about many of these sunflowers. Love this guy. This is one of my favorite spring sunflowers from our early birds. This is lemon. Look at that dark center with the lemon yellow petals. So love that. And then, of course, whoever had enough Cosmos, not me. This is they call this the violet bicolor. This is a double click. Look at all those petals. Bunches of petals make Cosmos last longer. And this is a color I love growing this and just having these all the same color in one bunch. And this is my go-to cut flower mix for Cosmos. This is double click, has about 5 or 6 different colors in it. And it's just got a lot of petals, so it helps it to last the longest. And y'all, if you haven't met this one, you've got to grow it this year. This is White Swan Marigold. It's not really white, y'all. It's actually buttercream. But it is a fabulous color, so useful, and low to no fragrance. And you do know that the fragrance of marigolds is the foliage, not the flower. So you could simply strip them. But these, look how it's green in the center. Love that one. But we grow all the marigolds here. Look at this cocoa yellow. This does have fragrance, and it's the foliage, not the bloom. These are bombs. They're big. We love that one. Here is one of those seeds that we have custom mixed or custom grown for us. This is Jura salmon. So it's limited supply. It's a branching coxcomb. It has some of the softest colors. It is just really, it's a hot color, but it's just really beautiful and very uniform. I mean, I grow, y'all been here very long. You know, I grow a lot of celosias. This is Crystal Beauty, and it's a fan type, but it gets really pretty, and it's a brancher. We really love it. And it gets super tall too. I mean, it's like 48 inches. And then here's another custom seed we had grown. And this, my friends, is Texas plumes. If you haven't grown these, you've got to grow them. They're super tall, like 5 to 8 feet tall. So you don't have to worry about short stems. And look at all the colors. That is the mix. And different shapes, blooms, just big plumes. I don't know how we would have made bouquets without all of these guys. And then if you've been around long, you know that this is also one of my favorites. This is Blue Horizon Azuratum. We grow it at every succession. It's just a color you can't get otherwise. And we love the stuffings out of it. Then have you heard about Love Lies Bleeding? This is an amaranth. We have to strip our amaranths here because the bugs eat the leaves, but the blooms look awesome. Love that one. And y'all, I'm just going to say, this is probably the most popular thing I've ever talked about when we go to shows. Meet hairy balls. These are seed pods, y'all. This follows a little insignificant flower, and you don't grow it for the little flower. You grow them for these seed pods, and people love them. They cannot keep their hands off of them. So these are, you plant them as, you know, in your first succession, but they don't develop these balls until the end of the season. Like for me, it happens in early September. So that is a real favorite. And anybody hates Gomphrena, this variety will change your mind. This is Audra Pastels Mix. The growth habit of this particular Gomphrena is amazing. It's got white and bicolor and the pink. We just love it. Really useful in bouquets. And who doesn't love bunny tails? This is a cool flower, actually, y'all. So that is a fall and very early spring plant. It's great to grow in pots to sell at this time of the year. People can't keep their hands off of it. They truly feel like little soft bunny tails. Lime light millet. You know, we grew this every single week when I was in high production. We planted it like sunflowers. Look at that. It's just so useful, y'all. And if you leave it in your garden, the finches love it. It's a great bird garden crop, but it is an amazing cut flower. Really love that one. And then hyacinth beans. This is a vine, y'all. I called it Jack and the Beanstalk because it literally grows a foot a day. It is not invasive because it doesn't reseed. And it is so much fun. It gets a sweet pea looking bloom, but that quickly drops for these beautiful purple bean pods, which are amazing on tablescapes, in vases, especially late summer into fall. Here's another great late summer. These are spinning gourds. These gourds are about this big, y'all. They're beautiful, fresh. They dry. You can make all kinds of crafts out of them. And they're so easy and fun to grow, but they grow on a trellis just like the hyacinth bean does. And y'all, you already got to start thinking about and making way for your pumpkin on a stick. I love these things, y'all. This is an ornamental eggplant. And we plant this one in our second succession to have them coming on late summer into fall. You want to have a boatload of these that are orange the whole month of October. If you go to a farmer's market, you should have a boatload of them for every week that you go. And love them. And I love them green. We use them green in the summer. I mean, florists want them, supermarkets want them. People just love them. And then another seed that we had grown was the rooster pepper. This is great using it fresh during the summer green. You can definitely eat it. It's a hot chili. But as they start to turn red, they're great in fall bouquets. But we also make tons of wreaths out of them, y'all. This is a great fall project after you've grown them and collected them all.
I got the wreath Christmas
And
party.
so every year I make wreaths with my private flower farmer club. You know, I make them and show them how to do it. And so the one I made this year, which was a larger one, wasn't it one of the big ones? Yeah. I use it as my swap gift for different Christmas parties that I go to, and it's always the in-demand gift. And Susie got it this year from our TGW Christmas party. So, friends, it is time to wrap it up. And stick around for the very end. I will do the Q&A. Remember that those special shipping rates and the deals of the day, remember, Warm Seeds 20% off, and that special, was it just the set? Soil Block Maker set, which is truly the number one item we sell, 20% off until Sunday at 8 a.m. And or while supplies last. I just say that because if we run out in the app, that is it. Okay. Remember that over on our website, we have so many free resources for you guys: videos, blogs, connect with our podcast. We have 2 podcasts. I made a great one this morning at Dark 30 this morning, y'all. Field and Garden. Don't miss the one that'll be coming out next week. And I did one, episode number 85 on warm season planting. And then also Seed Talk with Lisa and Lane. Are both of them number 85?
No, it's a mistake.
Yeah. Which one do you think's right?
Talk.
Oh, so forget Field and Garden for number 85. Tune into that one on Tuesday. You don't want to miss it.
Video.
And okay. And so in our videos, there is a Lisa Live talking about warm season planting. Seed Talk has number 85, warm season planting. And friends, I have answered all of the questions that may be coming up in your mind about growing warm and cool and starting your garden and succession planting, harvesting, conditioning, which varieties is all right here in the Cut Flower Handbook. And when you purchase the book from us, it includes the PDF download of the 6 flowers we could not fit into the book. And so it's $30. I would love to sign one for you. The photography, the inspirational pictures. So there's pumpkin on a stick. I love it green. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at these celosia plumes. You know, I could just, I had to become a flower farmer because I grew all the flowers, y'all, and couldn't stop. And then the other book, which is a great jumping off point, if you're not a dedicated flower junkie that you want to grow a bunch of cut flowers, the Vegetables Love Flowers book is not about vegetables, y'all. It's about why vegetables love growing in the presence of flowers. This is a great starter of like why you would want to give space in your veggie patch to a little spot of flowers and how to do it with cut flower garden, and all the benefits from it and all the steps to actually do it. So Vegetables Love Flowers also comes with a bonus. It includes a video book study, and it's me. I interview the photographer and my sis, and it's just kind of fun. So Vegetables Love Flowers, and it also has these amazing illustrations in the back on succession planting. So this is a great one to just jump off on if you aren't a dedicated flower junkie yet, because this will create you into one, right? And then, friends, you know, y'all have heard me talk about the big calendar journal and what, we need to remember that this calendar is definitely a big calendar, but it's more that it's actually a cut flower seed starting and planting guide. That is the main purpose of this item. And the calendar is just where you write it all down so you know when to do stuff. Y'all, this is it. It's pretty big, 20 by 30. And this is page 2. This has all my instructions on how you figure out your 9 planting windows for warm and cool season, weekly sunflowers. When do you start? When do you end? Then it walks you through figuring out your seed starting schedule. I'm telling you, it will change the way your garden goes. And so this includes 12 months. You plug in your first and last frost dates and then do the equations. So it's your customized plan for your garden. It's pretty amazing, y'all. And then it has really big blocks so you can write everything down. The last page in this calendar also includes my suggestions on what and how you should write on this calendar, because you know what that does? That turns it into a journal that you can actually look back on and make use of when you're planning forward for the next year and the year after that. The calendar is $39.95, and guess what else it includes? I did a video workshop that is walking you through the 9 planting windows and how I recommend, if you're just starting out for succession, how to go for 4 of those to really wrap your head around. In addition to that workshop, you get my seed starting worksheet, y'all. All this for $39.95 plus shipping. So friends, please get one while they're still available, and it'll just change the way that you think about planting your garden. All right, friends. So don't forget, Ask a Flower Farmer happens over on Instagram every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. And that is on the Gardener's Workshop farm page. And remember to meet us back here next Friday, right here, same day, place, same time. And remember that I do a live garden and shop and show on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time also. And I do pop-up shops from time to time. And the only way you're going to know about those is if your notifications are turned on here inside the app, because they're unscheduled is why that is, right? So I hope to see you there. And friends, we have a winner of our $25 store credit. And if you're here when I call this name, you need to give us a shout out in the comments, and then the girls will drop a $25 credit right into your cart. And our winner is Caitlin Nicodom. Nicodem. All right, Caitlin, you know who you are. Nikodym. Caitlin, if you are here, give us a shout out in the comments, and the girls will drop 25 smackers right into your cart. All right, my friends. So let's get to the Q&A oh, Caitlin is here. Congratulations, Caitlin. And thank you for participating. We just love when people jump in. And so the girls will drop a $25 credit. So when you go to check out, you have 25 bucks already paid in your cart. All right. Questions. For those cold hardy annuals that benefit from additional fertilizer applications, how often would you apply a soil drench with Neptune's harvest? So that would just really depend on what it is. The thing you need to be cautious of, particularly in spring and early summer, is encouraging aphids. Aphids are pests, and they really love really love sugar, and the new growth, those fresh, fleshy tips are just full of sugar, and that's driven by fertilizer. So I would do whatever the instructions, and I think on Neptune's Harvest it tells you can do it once a week. I don't know that I would do it once a week unless my soil was pretty depleted. I'd probably do it maybe once a month if you're doing a thorough job. But that's the thing that just we add the dry organic fertilizer at prep. And then we don't often, if ever, do soil drenches anymore. We just don't have time to get to it all. And our soil is pretty nutritious. So hope that helps. You just don't want to overdo it, right? Can you speak about the delivery fee you had when you were selling cut flowers? I don't even remember. First off, I had a minimum. It's like if for orders like $350 or more, they didn't pay a delivery fee. And I'm sure it was probably something like 10 or 15 bucks. And I mean, I will tell you that every florist that orders flowers now pays a significant delivery fee. So don't be afraid to do that. When and for how long do you put the sun cap on your rose? I only use a sun cap when I feel like my seedlings are compromised by the high heat. So it's only when it's hot. And then I leave it on until they're well established, which is usually about 2 to 3 weeks. And literally what happens for us, we just leave it there until we go to net the bed. Do you succession plant the green drops grass? I succession plant everything, all the warm season annuals that I want to have a continuous supply of or at specific times. So the green drops, the last succession of the year, the third succession for us is just full of all the grasses. That's just the time of the year, right? So it just depends. Do you want green drops all summer? You know, that's just what are you doing? What size blocks for dahlia seeds? Is it too late to plant dahlia seeds? I cannot help you on that because we don't grow dahlias here, but I've never started a dahlia from seed, which just means I don't know what size the seeds are. And so compare them. If they're the size of a zinnia seed, then the small block, I would probably think they might get bumped up. But I'm sorry, I can't help you there. Zone 9B, Texas Gulf Coast, first timer. I won't have my 5x10 garden bed ready until mid-April. Should I start seeds now inside? I have seeds for sunflowers, celosia, zinnias, cosmos, yarrow, dill, bupleurum, and more. Also, am I nuts to start while pregnant and with 2 toddlers and 3 under? And you'll probably start a flower farm after that baby was born. You're the kind of person just like me. Yeah, we always take on too much. So here's a couple things I have to tell you. First off, take these seed packets I'm getting ready to tell you the name of, and you're going to paper clip them to your September calendar. Do not start them or plant them now. And that is yarrow, dill, and bupleurum. Those 3 are cool season hardy annuals. It is too late. You need to plant them following the fall planting deal. Sunflowers and zinnias, you only start them 3 weeks before it's time to plant them. And the others are 4 to 6 weeks, all of which our seed packets tell you how far in advance to actually start them. And I would say, I guess it depends on how pregnant you are. But if you're going to plant that bed and then have a baby, I would make darn sure it is well mulched somehow to prevent weeds because you are not going to be thinking about weeding that bed. And congratulations. And you go, girl. You're a hustler like us. Huh?
Get your netting up.
That's right. And get your flower support netting up. I'm new to succession planting of sunflowers and I have limited space. Do you take out a whole bed and replant with the next seedlings in the same bed? Depends on how big your beds are and how many sunflowers you're planting. What we do is designate one full bed for multiple sunflower successions. I prepare the entire bed at one time, and then we put down silage tarp that is cut 5 feet wide and 50 feet long. Our silage tarps are 20 by 50. You can find them on our website. We cut them into strips for this purpose that I'm talking about. We prepare the bed, everything, then we put the silage tarp down, and then each week we just fold back, whether it's folding back for 20 or 50 or 128, like what I do every week. So that is how we would do that. And then by the time you get to the end of that bed, the front's pretty much usually kind of done. But then by that time, a bed's done somewhere else, and we do the same thing again over there. What is your interpretation of the temperature for warmer soil? Well, it's not warmer soil, it's warmed up soil in my mind. It depends on what you're planting, but for warm season tender annual transplants, you're looking at 60 degrees or above. And if you want to direct sow seeds out in the garden, you're looking for 70 degrees and above. Is there a list of what size blocks you use to start with each of these seeds? Do we list that? We did a long time ago.
There are only a few that you start in big ones.
Yeah, there's just, you can assume the small block with the exception of those that are just too big, which are sweet peas, sunflowers,
Some of the veggies.
so of course, vegetables we're not talking about, right? And calendula is on the edge. I'm just trying to think, sorry. So there's not, to my knowledge. But we used the 3/4 inch block almost exclusively. When do you separate the 3/4 inch blocks to plants when their roots are long? We don't separate them until we're sitting out in the field, literally lift up. Here's a tray. All their brothers and sisters were planted last week. I literally would grab this up, place it on my hand, sitting out in the field, and then just breaking them off and planting them. And it doesn't matter about long. Do not be careful of the roots. Just break them off. You are not going to hurt them, and it actually encourages them to grow more roots when you do that. So don't be afraid of that. Most of my Snapdragon sprouts are helmet heads. Any tips? Frequently when helmet head, which means that the seed didn't let go, that's very, there's certain varieties sometimes that do that. It's long before you see it is when that happens. It's when the surface of the blocks typically don't have moisture when that's happening to the seed. Frequently, if I just leave them, then they'll get sprouts at the base of that stem. And sometimes I'll just snip them off. Better to do that and encourage more leaves than to have it just not do anything at all. Can you use the biodegradable mulch to kill grass? No. Not much truly kills grass. I mean, you have to use a silage tarp, which is pretty heavy duty. You need something to block moisture and light, and you need a lot of heat. That's what you do in the middle of summer. That doesn't really work now for killing stuff. It's just not hot enough. Do sunflower seedlings get Neptunes weekly too? And that's a good question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that. No, we don't. Because we water, I mean, I say that. If there's enough fertilizer left over after I've watered all of our soil blocking trays, I'll go over and pour it on the sunflowers. But we just don't find it's necessary. They're in soil that's 50% compost, and they do really well. My bunny tails were very short. Any tips? I wished I did have a tip. Bunny tails are very short. That's the conclusion I've come to. We fall plant them, we very early spring plant them, and they're still short. If you're a flower farmer and you're looking for something to sell at a farmer's market, you need to not even think about putting them into bouquets. You need to sow the seeds and grow them in little cute terracotta pots and sell them at markets. And I mean, short, people will buy, you'll probably be making 1,000 of them for next spring. That's where I see that because they're so precious. So they are just short. Do you plant the hyacinth bean vine and love in a puff in your first succession? Yeah, the crops like that kind of fall into when do we have time? I would say it's probably the second succession. We're pushing for the first one, but yes. All right, I'll do one more. I started my cool season seeds with soil blocking 7 days ago. They are germinating, but some are yellowing. Am I overwatering, and when do you start fertilizing? If they're already yellow at such a young stage, I would question, what are you seed starting in? What mix is it? And potentially, yes, overwatering would be the first thing I think of. And how do you know that if you're doing that? When you water, you should be watering first thing in the morning. And when you go to water, they should be dry. I don't have any dry ones. I mean, here's a sweet pea. I don't even know if y'all can tell, but these are wet. You can see how it's darker. They should be a lighter color and dry. Like these have not had any water today. This is how they should look when you come out in the morning. And then you water them thoroughly. You dump off any excessive water. You don't want to leave any residue in the tray. And if they're not dry when you come out in the morning, then you need to bump up your air temperature. For stuff to grow on the top, it has to be warmer than what many people provide. But I would say overwatering is the number one killer of seedlings if you can get them to sprout. And so, yes, that's what I would probably lean to. And I fertilize, thank you, sister, once a week. I just add it to my watering can. We use a couple of different products. It depends. If you don't mind the stinkiness, my preferred method is Neptune's Harvest. Love it, but it is stinky. And so if you want the non-stinky one that smells like spearmint, that is our FOOP, FOOP, and it truly smells like peppermint. You can use that daily. The instructions are right on the bottle. You can use it daily or once a week. And that's what we do. So friends, thank you so much for all the great questions. There's about a bazillion of them. Thank y'all for joining me. Please tell a friend about the live gardening show where we show you how we use stuff and then I take questions, right? So please tell a friend and thanks for joining us. And am I supposed to see anything?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, my friends, until we meet again. Ciao.